Ro Khanna. Congressman Ro Khanna is taking your calls for the hour. Jeff in Mount Hope, Wisconsin. Jeff, thanks for listening to Sirius XM. You're on the air with Congressman Khanna.
Good day, gentlemen. Hey, I was calling. I read a part of an article online about the DNC changing some of the rules so that a candidate like Bernie Sanders could not step up and run as president. Could you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Well, I think we need to change the rules, and we are working on that so that it would make a candidate like Bernie Sanders, who wasn't the establishment candidate, more able to run. There are two changes that I think are critical. One is we shouldn't have superdelegates be allowed to vote. There was an article in Politico last week where some of my colleagues were saying to keep the superdelegate system, and I couldn't disagree more with them. I don't think a member of Congress should have an extra vote for the presidency. We should be deciding the nominee based on the popular vote in these states. And so I've said I will give up my superdelegate vote. We all should give up our superdelegate votes, and the DNC is going to be voting on that come August. The Unity Commission recommended that the superdelegates not be allowed to vote on the first ballot, at least, of a presidential campaign. And the second reform is to allow independents, declined to state voters, to be able to vote in party primaries. Right now, many states, you have to choose a party primary to vote almost 10 months before the election, which is a huge bar to having independents vote in these primaries. That needs to change.
Yeah. Jesse in Miami, Florida. You're on the air with Congressman Khanna.
Hi to both of y'all. Congressman, it's kind of tough, but I got to throw it out there. Do you think capitalism and democracy is compatible?
I do, but I think it has to be. It depends on how you define capitalism. If you have capitalism where, like FDR wanted it, where people have a right to a job, where they have a right to housing, where they have a right to health care, where they have a right to a good education, then you can have a flourishing capitalist system with also strong antitrust laws and competition. But if you have free market absolutism, the type we've had since, I would argue, 1980, where you don't have any investment in people, where the gains are going to the very top, where you have a concentration of wealth, and then that is in turn funneled into the political system, then no, I don't think that's compatible with democracy. But the type of capitalism we have right now is not in the American tradition. I mean, I would argue that we've always had a greater sense of wanting the state to help people have the tools to succeed in a market economy, not the kind of free market absolutism we've seen over the last 40 years.
Jack in Eden Rapids, Michigan. You're on the air with Congressman Khanna.
Oh, hello. I really appreciate you guys talking about the fact that so many people have been kicked off the voter rolls. They don't notify you when they do that, I'm guessing, correct?
Depends on the state, but mostly not.
Yeah,
because
so
what they're claiming is that you're not there,
people,
so why send a notification to somebody who's not there?
Yeah. So most of these people that whose right to vote has been taken away is basically the way I look at it. They don't even know it, and it's great that you're mentioning it. But right now, that should be every politician's opening thing is go register to vote. You need to go register to vote because your right to vote may have been taken away. If you put it that way. And especially if you're not telling them who to vote for, just go register to vote.
And check your voter registration,
right, Jack? They're going to appreciate the person that's telling them that.
Yeah, let's. We're about 40 seconds away from the break, Congressman. Your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, I think it's the biggest issue for us is making sure we register to vote, but also having volunteers at these elections, 90 days before an election, making sure that registrars are providing enough options for people to vote. We're going to need far more vigilance going forward in every election cycle. Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is so many states, I mean, if you get purged, and, you know, the cross-check program purged over 100,000 people in Wisconsin, Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, in each state, and Trump won by tiny margins in those states. If you've been purged, you just show up and you get a provisional ballot, which never gets counted. And it's, you know, how do we, it's like this really should be the top of, we should be screaming this from the mountaintop, shouldn't we?
You're absolutely right. And this was the reason, this is the biggest reason Donald Trump won, was the disenfranchisement of individuals. And I don't know why there hasn't been more focus on that.
I agree.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 202-808-9925.
After the news at the bottom of the hour, we'll continue. Congressman Ro Khanna taking your calls for the hour here on the Thom Hartmann Program. We'll be right back.